I just listened to all 3 MC5 albums, and here are my thoughts. So glad I got to get these 2 videos knocked out on one day. I'm about to listen to the final Pink Floyd album, and it was just on my mind that Iron Butterfly and MC5 were kind of backlogged. I still had to make these videos, so now I get them out of the way, and I'm finally caught up. So going into this, I knew virtually nothing about MC5. I hadn't heard a single song of theirs. I also didn't know that their guitarist, Wayne Kramer, had just passed away just this last February. When he did, Tom Morello, the guitarist for Rage Against the Machine, had given a sort of tribute for him, and he said that MC5 basically invented punk, which I thought was a really cool tribute and a really nice thing to say. It's also funny that Tom Morello was the one who said it, because as I was going through MC5, I had thought this is basically Rage Against the Machine for the Vietnam War era. Just like Rage Against the Machine, their career was short and sweet, and they were just powerful, aggressive, very leftist, anti-imperial hard rock. I was initially made aware of MC5 years ago. I was watching some sort of VH1 documentary about the formation of heavy metal, and MC5 popped up, and they definitely deserve to be mentioned in the conversation about the formation of heavy metal, because their music was just so aggressive and obnoxiously in your face. Like, this was really heavy music for that time. That very same documentary also shared one clip from one MC5 song, and this ended up being the only thing I knew about them for years until I finally started listening to them. And you probably know what clip that I'm talking about. If you know anything about MC5, it's this. It might not seem like a lot now, but in 1969, that was a pretty big deal. It was things like that, and the fact that their lyrical content was so anti-war, anti-imperialist, speaking out about a disillusioned group of youths in America who no longer believed in the American dream, that got them accused by Vice President Agnew of being some sort of communist conspiracy to overthrow America. This was among the several decades that being anywhere to the left of killing the homeless for sport in America was enough to get your wires tapped by the U.S. government. In any case, I loved going through these 3 albums. They were hard, they were fast, they were heavy. And a lot of times their music was very directly blues inspired. Like, it took blues and then made something faster and heavier out of that. Other times there was more of a degree of separation, so rather than taking directly from blues, it would be more inspiration from, say, like 50s rock and roll. So still very blues inspired, but again, a degree of separation there. And this first album, Kick Out the Jams, it was recorded live in 1969, which I also thought was a really cool decision. It was a great decision, too, for their style of music. Something that is designed to just be very raw, and I can tell that they made the decision to record it live so that you would feel just the rawness and the energy through the speakers. And even still, after all this time, this album has still got to be one of the just purest adrenaline rushes you can get from a single album. Their next album was recorded in studio, and it's called Back in the USA. I didn't find anything confirming this, but I suspect that this is a reference to the Beatles song Back in the USSR, but it's Back in the USA. And as expected, the lyrical content of this album was very critical of the United States and of imperialism in general. That comes through in a number of the songs, but especially one of my favorites from this album, The American Ruse. This album very much keeps up a lot of the same energy that Kick Out the Jams had. I thought it was almost as good as Kick Out the Jams. So if you know of MC5 and you only know of Kick Out the Jams, like, don't sleep on this album. The second one, Back in the USA, it's a good one. Their third album and their final album felt a little bit like a step down compared to the previous 2. It didn't feel as strong or cohesive as an entire album, but there were still a couple of songs that I picked out that were as good as most of the really good stuff from the previous 2 albums. So there's definitely some things worth going through there as well. songs that I will, as always, of course, share with you in a minute. So yeah, that is my review of MC5. I'm not going to post an album ranking because it's only 3 albums, and Kick Out the Jams is the best, Back in the USA is almost as good, and then High Time was a bit less good than that. Still all really good though. So yeah, thank you for watching. Like I said, I am listening to the final Pink Floyd album probably today, maybe tomorrow. And after that, I'll be able to give my Pink Floyd review, which I'm really excited to give. Again, thank you for watching, and here are my favorite MC5 songs.